I'm Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, she says I don't listen to her. Got an email here from a viewer. He says, hey Coach, I saw your article, How to Communicate with Women Effectively. I need some advice. I have been with my girlfriend for 6 months now, but she is now getting really frustrated with me as she tells me that I do not listen to her. Well, if you read that article and she's still telling you those things, then you need to go read the article again because it just completely sailed way over your head. So he says, she tells me when she talks sometimes that I am distant and I do not reply. She tells me that I do not listen to her or acknowledge her when she is talking. She also tells me that I can cut into her conversations and she hates that. So that particular statement tells me that you're listening to her with the intent to respond as opposed to actually listening to her. You know, it's interesting that Stephen Covey had this quote that I really love. He says, most people do not listen with the intent to understand. They listen with the intent to reply. And so that statement tells me that your girlfriend is, the reason she's saying that is that you're listening to her and you're trying to solve her problems. And so you're interrupting her and trying to give her solutions to what she's talking about, when in reality she just wants you to listen to what she's saying and act like you're at least somewhat interested, and every so often repeat some of it back to her. So he says, how can I better myself in terms of listening to her as I do not want to lose her? Well, you got to read my book, and you need to go back and read the article, How to Communicate with Women Effectively. But here's the deal. In a relationship, women like to talk. And here's the thing that's different between men versus women. Women resolve their problems or their issues or their things that are bothering them or the things that they have emotional tension within them by talking about it, either with you or with their girlfriends. Now, guys, on the other hand, when we have an issue or a problem, we want to go sit in our man cave, we want to go out to the tool shed or sit in the garage, go to our favorite watering hole, whatever it is that we happen to go to our executive retreat upstairs in our house, and just hang out, smoke a cigar, whatever it is. And once we come to a conclusion or we figure out what we need to do, then we go ahead and take some action on it, and we handle and we solve the problem. Now the thing is that most guys, when they listen to a woman, it's never crossed their mind, but they just think that women are the same way. So when she starts talking about something that's going on with maybe her and one of her coworkers or her and one of her sisters or whatever, or a friend of hers, some kind of drama that's happened, a guy listens and he's thinking, okay, I just need to give her some advice so I can solve this, and I can, because men, we want to feel, if we're successful at making the woman happy, then we feel successful. And so the guy's thinking, if I just solve her problem, then she's going to be happy that I solved her problem, and she's going to be happy, and she's going to love me, and she's going to kiss me. But in reality, when a guy applies that strategy, he's using logic and reason to solve her problem instead of listening, and now she feels like you never listen to me. You're trying to solve my problems, and that's what's happening here. Is you're trying to solve your girl's problems instead of just shutting your mouth and listening. And so that's what's happening. You're trying to solve her problems instead of listening to her. And so the way that you do that is when she starts talking about whatever it is, you got to understand that that's how they solve their problems. If you've ever watched a group of women together and there's like 10 different fucking subjects that they're talking about, and you can't make heads or tail and it makes really no sense one way or another what they're talking about, but the women all know exactly what's going on in the conversations. And even though they might be talking about 10 different things, the guys are looking at it, scratching their heads going like, what the fuck? It makes no sense. But that's how they relate to one another and they solve their problems, just by talking about things. They arrive at their solutions verbally. They tend to work through their problems verbally and openly, whereas us guys tend to internalize stuff and figure out a solution on our own. And women, and also on the flip side, will also think, well, that's why I want guys to talk about their things, because they think guys are the same way. That when we talk about our problems, that's how we solve them. But no, we go and we figure out the solution on our own, and then we come out of the back cave once we've figured it out, so to speak. And so here's what you do. Because women like to talk, and you can just sit there and ask her questions, like say things like, tell me more, honey, don't leave anything out. And if you're unsure of whether or not she wants you to solve her problem or get your advice, or she just wants you to listen so she can talk and figure out the solution on her own, just ask her. Say, do you want me to listen or do you want my advice? And she'll go, oh, I just want you to listen. You go, okay. And most of the time, she's going to say, I just want you to listen. And you just go, okay, really? Huh? Tell me more. Wow, oh my God, that happened? Oh, geez, what happened next? Tell me more. Don't leave anything out. What else, honey? What else? And you just keep her talking. And when she's done, she'll do this. She'll go, oh, I feel so much better, honey. I'm so glad we talked. You're such a great listener. I love you. And she'll kiss you and be like, and you didn't do anything. You didn't solve anything. You just listen. You're like, and then you just acknowledge it. And every few minutes when she's talking, you'll say, okay, so when this, and that happened at work, it really made you feel about, oh, okay, wow, yeah, I can understand where you're coming from. What else, honey? What else happened? What happened next? And you just get her talking. 4 or 5 minutes go by, you repeat a little bit back to her. And she's told you specifically, I just want you to listen. So that's all you got to do is just listen. And when she gets to the point where she goes, oh, I feel so much better. I'm so glad we talked. And that means that all the tension is resolved. It means she's figured out the solution to whatever it was, the problem that she had, which was the reason why she wanted to talk in the first place. And then when she gets to that place, she's going to want to be all lovey-dovey and want to cuddle because you've opened her up emotionally. But if you sit there and you keep interrupting her and you keep trying to give her solutions that she didn't, or advice that she didn't ask for, you're just going to fucking piss her off and make her feel like you can't listen to her, which is exactly what is going on here. And it's a really simple thing. It's a subtle difference that makes a difference. But if you're unsure, you need to shut your fucking mouth. This is really important. I'm trying to help you here. You got to shut your mouth, bite your tongue, and say this one simple phrase to her. Do you want me to listen, or do you want my advice? And when she tells you, when she says, I just want you to listen, which will be most of the time, then just make sure she talks until she gets to the point where she goes, oh, I feel so much better. I'm so glad we talked. And until she gets to that point, you're not done. She's not opened you up. Even if she says, no, I don't want to talk about it. Just, honey, I can tell you're upset. It's in your body language and your physiology. Something's bothering you. Tell me what's going on. And get her to talk and get her to open up. What else? Tell me more. And eventually, once she works through it, because she may say, like, no, you won't get it. You never understand. You're not a good listener. She may throw some things like that in your face because you fucked up so epically bad in the past when it comes to listening. But if you can do it like I just explained to you, it'll be smooth sailing. But you got to read my book and you got to understand how to communicate with a woman when there's so many little nuances of things that you need to learn, and I explain it in detail in my book. That's why I highly encourage you to download it and read it now. So if you have a question that you want to ask me, go to my website, click the Contact Me tab, which will be on the left-hand side of your screen. Send me 1 to 2 paragraphs max, and just give me several weeks to get back to you with a response. If you want to talk to me right away, the quickest way to get my help is to book a paid phone coaching session. You can do that by going to my website, click the Products tab, which will be at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions. If you want to get a digital version of my Kindle ebook, on my website, underneath the email sign-up box, is a box that has a link that will take you right to the Amazon Kindle download page for my book. Once you get there, if you don't have a Kindle device, just download one of their free e-reader apps for whatever electronic device you want to read my book on. And if you appreciate the value of the information I offer in these video newsletters, the articles on my website, or my ebook, you can show your appreciation right now by going to my website, and on the Will Be a Toolbar at the bottom of your screen, click the PayPal donate button and donate any amount that you feel is equal to the value of the information. And I will talk to you soon.